Of course, he holds wins over Rando Bailey, DeMarcus Chop Chop Corley, the Magic Man Paulie Malignaggi, Zab Judah, Shane Mosley, Ricardo Mayorga, Sergio Martinez, and a plethora of others. He is the last champion to defend his title in the world-famous Madison Square Garden ring that is now on display right inside there with an 11th round stoppage of Zab Judah. You folks remember that fight in 2007. He announced his retirement in 2017 with a tremendous record of 41-6, 33 KOs. Viva Puerto Rico! Give it up for a man who will be in here in about 5 years, Miguel Angel Cotto, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you're not going to announce that you're making a comeback, right? You're going to stay retired, right?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
What is this experience like for you? What do you think of Canastota and the International Boxing Hall of Fame, Miguel? Just hold the mic. That'll be fine.
Great. It's my first time here. For me, it's an amazing experience, and I feel good being here.
Okay. And we'll need to keep the noise down if we can so we can do this. And I want you folks to please participate if you have a question or a comment for one of the guys that is so popular in the sport. You know, you're also very popular with other fighters. So many fighters like Miguel Cotto. What do you think it is? What is it that makes you so popular?
I put the best of Miguel in every camp and every preparation, just to bring the best Miguel in every fight. You know, I think that people identified themselves with that.
And I got to tell you something. This is a bit off script. You and I constantly battle it out on social media as to who is the handsomest guy in boxing, and you got a slight nod over me because of your hair, you know. You know, what's happened so far for you in Canastota? What has already happened your first few days here, and talk about some of your experiences with the other great champions.
It's my first time in here. I'm just visiting and knowing about the facilities, about the Hall of Fame, and I enjoy it a lot.
Talk about your really great amateur boxing and talk about how did you get into boxing in your amateur career?
Back in 1991, when I was finishing my elementary school, I was a heavy kid. My weight was 160 something pounds, and I asked to my father to start in boxing to lose weight. That was what the main reason to start in boxing.
Just to get in shape.
Just to get in shape.
And talk about those early years. Do you remember your first amateur fight?
No.
Do you remember your Olympic experience in the Sydney Games?
2000.
And what's so interesting is the guy, I think, who beat you, Abdullayev, he would go on to win the gold, and you'd fight him as a pro and beat him.
I lost with the Olympic medal winner, gold medal winner, and then a couple years after, I beat him in the Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, and what did that mean to you to avenge that?
Just showing to the people that it's two different kind of boxing, you know. One is the amateur boxing and the other one is the pro boxing, you know. I feel really good beating him in 2000, 2004, 2005.
When we think about the island of Puerto Rico and Benitez and Tito and of course Camacho, who also comes from New York, talk about what Puerto Rican fighters inspired you?
The main reason that I get involved in boxing was just to put myself in a better, healthier position. But my real inspiration was my brothers. They became boxers first than me.
Questions for Miguel Cotto, please step right over there. He's a fan favorite, and it's a rare opportunity that you get a chance to talk to him. How would you describe yourself as a fighter? You have the ability to box. You certainly have the ability to punch. How would you describe yourself as a fighter?
Just a guy who used the boxing skill when he needed, and a guy who pressured the guy when he needed to pressure.
He's so humble, ladies and gentlemen. You know what Emanuel Stewart told me about him? It's interesting because Manny would talk about, I remember him saying that he thought Mike McCallum might have been his best all-around fighter that he had, but he told me that the best left hook was Miguel Cotto's, and I remember being with you when Manny, you've had different trainers over your career, but what do you remember about Emanuel Stewart?
Emmanuel was a really nice trainer with a lot of experience, and he brought a new, a fresh atmosphere to my group.
Yeah, that's important for a
Yeah.
fighter, isn't it, during his career, to have some changes and nuances and things.
Exactly.
All right, questions, here we go.
Hi, Miguel. I went to all of your fights at Madison Square Garden and even made my wife go to the Zab Judah fight, which she totally didn't want to go to, but she liked it. My question for you is, how did the first fight with Antonio Margarito affect the rest of your career, in your opinion?
I don't think that this fight affect anything on my career. That was just everybody knows what happened during the fight, but I overcame the situation and put myself in a better position to myself, to work with myself in the future fights.
You, like so many great fighters, you've overcome a lot. Weren't you involved in a pretty serious car accident and broke your arm, I believe, in 2001, right?
August 18, 2001. I fell asleep at the wheel and I crashed to the divisor wall on the highway, and I broke my humerus, right humerus, in 3 pieces.
How long did it take to recover from? Did you think at that point that could be it, with your career?
That was that the doctor said that I need at least 18 months of recovery, but I came back in less than 8 months.
Was that your right hand?
Right hand.
Well, no wonder you had such a great left hook.
Good afternoon, Miguel.
Good afternoon.
If you could have one fantasy fight with anybody anywhere in history prior, maybe somewhere in the middleweight division, maybe somewhere in the 80s, anywhere, who would it be and why?
It's a tough question.
Aaron Pryor and him, I would have liked to see. That would have been a great fight.
I think that the Duran, yeah, Roberto Duran, yeah.
Why Duran?
Duran is he's not the biggest Latin name in boxing. He's one. He's one of them. But I want to. I'm always face the best one. You know. I think that this fight with Duran could be an amazing one. Thank you.
Talk about facing the best. I'm just because you had such a stellar career. I'll just name a guy, and you respond and talk about your fights with him. Sugar Shane Mosley.
Sugar Shane Mosley. That was a fight in New York, in the Garden. I think in the Garden was what? 2000, back in 2007. Mosley was a quick guy, fast guy, but I think that we kill him in his own game.
How so?
We overcame him with our hand speed, and we put himself against the ropes in a lot of times.
I want to go ahead for just a moment to 2008
Yep.
in Las Vegas, July 26th. I was ringside. Leading up to that fight, I had done a countdown show where I picked Antonio Margarito to win the fight and then changed my pick, which I rarely do, the week of the fight, and I did some more studying of tape, and I said, Cotto will outbox this guy. He's just simply too good of a fighter. He'll beat Margarito. And you were beating Antonio Margarito. And then something happened during the fight, and I remember saying to my producer who was next to me, and I was scoring the fight, and I was getting all rattled saying, something's wrong. He's either broken his jaw or he's broken a rib or something is wrong. And when I felt that something was wrong, you probably knew something was wrong, but you had this look on your face. And then after the fight, we know what happened in that fight, and I remember making a comment. I remember making comments back in the press room, and somebody said, Smitty, you're just mad because you picked Cotto. I said, nah, something was wrong during that fight. When did you know, and do you know, that something was really wrong in that fight, which perhaps had to do with the hands of Antonio Margarito?
During the fight, during the fight, it was just another fight. But as soon as people start talking about the hand wrap situation in mostly fight, I believe that he did the same with us.
Did that ever come across your mind, or in any discussions after the fight, before the Mosley fight, that something might have been wrong with his hands or something might have been in his gloves?
No, never.
Never. Yeah. But I certainly picked up on it because it just seemed like you were getting hit and staying hit, and it was very difficult to recover. Having said that, and then knowing what you would find out, the rematch with him, that had to be really personal, I would think.
It was the most personal fight that I have ever had in my career.
What was going through your mind during that fight?
Just keep myself in our plan and showing to the people what really happened in our first fight.
So it meant a lot more perhaps than just a fight. Were you trying to in any way tell him something as well?
No, not himself, just the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm. Question? By the way, I think we should give a round of applause for what he went through.
Thank you.
And what he recovered from and what he did in the rematch.
Welcome to Canastota, Miguel.
Thank you.
Congratulations on a great career, and I
Thank
wish
you.
you well in your retirement.
Thank you.
A question about when you first started working with Freddie Roach.
Yeah.
Was the adjustment harder psychologically or physically for you?
I look after the Austin Trout fight. I look through LA to Freddie Roach as my savior in my career, and he was the guy who put a new, fresh
Enthusiasm.
attitude
Yeah.
in myself, and he make me be the Miguel from the beginning.
What is so special about Freddie Roach as a trainer? He seems to is it because he's an ex-fighter and really can relate also to the fighters?
In my personal case of Freddie, everybody knows that he has Parkinson, and sometimes his medicines can control his movements, and no matter how he feels, no matter how he is, he's there trying to bring his best, just to take the best from you, take the best out of you. And saying that and watching him doing this, just put myself in a new kind of understanding. You know, if he can be here doing all of this with his disease, why cannot bring our best? You know.
When I think about Miguel Cotto, I think of just like with Tommy Hearns, and it's amazing when Tommy Hearns walks into an arena, nobody cares about what was the result of the first Ray Leonard fight or the fight with Marvin Hagler, right? We just know that that's Tommy Hearns. Same thing with Cotto. So we'll talk about a couple of fights where you didn't get the nod. First off, your fight with Manny Pacquiao.
Manny was a quicker guy. This night, after round number 3 or 4, myself, I put myself out of our plan, and he took advantage of that.
And a guy that lives close to me, Floyd Money Mayweather. You put a lot of pressure and did a great job against Floyd.
I think that we did a really good job. We put our best as always, facing one of the best ever in our sport, and I think that we did a really good job.
Slippery guy, isn't he?
He is.
Hi, Miguel.
Hi.
Question for you. I'm a professional fighter. I've had about 25 fights. And I got probably hoping a couple years left in the sport. And my biggest fear, I think, is missing that hype of next fight coming up and planning it and training and just, being excited about it. How did you know it was time for you to retire? That's my one question. Number two, are you afraid that you're going to miss it and, get to a point where you wish you could have one more fight and trying to find something to replace it with? Because there's really nothing like boxing. It's so hard to replace that feeling.
I've been in boxing since I was 11. I put on the side a lot of things, like my family, my kids, my wife, and I spent 27 years in the boxing business as an amateur, as a professional, and I just really felt that it was time to go and enjoy time with my family. No, I don't. Thank you.
You have a very, go ahead. You have a very special bond, of course, and love with not only your family, but also your team. And I don't know, did any of you see the 24/7s? He's also a really, kind of a funny guy, too. He likes to play a lot of jokes and do a lot of things. Talk about the camaraderie within Team Cotto, the special bond.
We're not a team. We're family, and we know each other since 1990 something, and everybody in our team is a part of my family. They're like my brothers.
Another question. Here we go. All the ladies are coming up for Cotto. Here we go.
Buenas, Miguel. Me llamo
Hola.
Ashley. Soy fanática bien grande. I'll ask
Gracias.
the question in English so everyone understands. What do you feel was your most challenging fight that you took a big life lesson from?
I think my whole career, I enjoy it. But since the first fight through the last one, I put myself through difficult situations, that made me grow, make me became the man I am today. Not just the boxer, the father I have to be for my kids, the husband I have to be for my wife, and the friend I have to be for my friend. Boxing just make me be the Miguel I am right now.
And thank you for making Puerto Rico proud on Puerto Ricans. So I can for sure
Thank
say
you.
that you've made us all proud. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Miguel. Thank you for
Hi.
coming.
Thank you.
I wanted to say congratulations on Zorilla winning last night.
Thank you.
And he's one of your fighters. I wanted to ask you, how does being in the ring boxing versus being outside the ring now promoting compare? And who are some of your fighters that we should be watching?
Promociones Miguel Cotto, our promotional company in Puerto Rico, was a dream of my father. He was the one who established our company, and we just, Brian, Hector, and I, we just are looking forward to make the dreams of my father came true, and we just put our effort, our best effort to try to bring back to the boxing community in Puerto Rico what boxing gave to me for all those years. Oh, we have two world champions, Alberto Machado and Angel Acosta. We have our guy who fought last night, Zorrilla. He's an outstanding kid, and those three kids you be watching. Thank you.
What did it mean to go from a buck 40 fighter, 140-pound fighter and champion, and then to 147? And at the end of the day, you're beating Sergio Martinez to win the middleweight championship of the world.
Never passed through my mind that I can ever go through 160. There was a situation that happened in the road, and we just accepted. But it was an amazing fight for us.
Another amazing fight took place in Las Vegas and against a redhead from Mexico, Canelo Alvarez, a fight that was razor close, and I think you won that fight.
We believe so, yeah. But the judges are there to make the word, and we cannot argue with that.
I don't know how much you follow. You're obviously promoting fights and bringing up fighters, but the Canelo Triple G fight. Did you see? You obviously saw their first fight, right?
Yeah,
Who do you think won their first fight?
I saw Canelo taking advantage of a lot of the first rounds, and then Triple G overcame the situation, and he put a lot of pressure on the last part of the fight.
So you probably would have leaned towards Gennady getting the decision?
I believe that the draw was fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what do you think about all that's taken place since then with the tainted meat in Mexico and the other things? And do you think these two will fight again?
I think that the world needs to watch really good fights, and no matter what, I think that this fight is going to happen.
What has boxing done for your life?
Boxing make me be the man I am right now, the father I am right now, the husband I am right now. Boxing represents my whole life.
And how does Miguel Cotto want to be remembered as a fighter?
I don't have control of that, you know. I bring my best in every morning at the track, at the gym. I bring my best every evening at the gym, and I try to bring my best every night in every fight. People can remember or think about me in the way they want. My family knows what I did for them, what I did for my people, what I did for my family, and I'm happy with that.
Well, now that you're retired, and now that you're sitting here in Canastota, are you starting to think about when you will come here again and be here forever as an inductee into the International Boxing Hall of Fame?
It's early to think about it, you know. First of all, people have to pick and choose Miguel to be here. I doesn't have control neither of that, and we have to wait. We have to wait until the moment came, and we'll see.
All right, we'll do just a sampling. Does he belong in here, ladies and gentlemen?
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Miguel Cotto.
Thank you.
And he'll be signing autographs. Thanks, champ.